Welcome to my channel. I wanted to do a quick video on what is respite foster care and what the difference is between respite foster care providers and regular foster care providers. This is a question I get asked all the time because we're currently a respite-only foster care family. And that kind of all will boil down to I need to still do another video on how we started our foster care journey because it's actually a really awesome, kind of cool story about how we got involved in this to begin with. But the reason we ended up being respite right now is because last July, when our oldest son was diagnosed with cancer, we had just gotten licensed, and obviously we knew that it was not a good time to take in any placements, both for our family's sake and for the placement's sake. And when you're licensed for foster, they do not like you to sit with an open bed, so our licensing agency put us on a respite-only list, basically. And then, so a couple months, he was diagnosed the end of July, and we didn't actually do any respite because, we just weren't in a good spot in our life at that time. We really needed to dedicate all the time to our oldest and our other children, and life was crazy. So now, fast forward and rewind, I guess, a little too, to about 2 months ago, we told our licensing worker, I think we're ready to start taking some respite placements, and then from there we'll open up our permanent foster bed soon. So starting about 2 months ago, we started respite. And what respite is, it means that we are a licensed foster family. In order to do respite for pay, I guess you say, no one does it for the money. And I don't know about other states, but here it's $1 an hour. So $24 a day. So no, we were not doing it for the money. We just do it because we love getting a chance to really love on these kids and be with them and give their foster parents a break. But basically, every foster parent in our state gets 144 hours a year of respite care. So that means that they can find a licensed foster parent where they can bring their child for anywhere from 1 to 6 days and leave them there while they either go on vacation. Maybe there's a lot of different reasons people could use respite. Sometimes they just need a break. Sometimes they just want some one-on-one time with their family. Sometimes they might be going on vacation, and you can take your foster child on vacation, but sometimes they have visits or it's just not approved from their caseworker, and so they would need respite. So they would find a respite family, and they could drop the child off there for that however many days they needed. In our state, and I think this is actually everywhere, they just started about 2 years ago, they changed it to where you can leave them now with one of your own family members for up to 72 hours. And then after that, you need to get permission from the caseworker. And even then, they can still stay with them a little longer. But a lot of people will still use licensed respite. So that's kind of what respite foster care is. It means you'll get a call and they'll say, can you take this child that's this age for this many days? And you can say yes or you can say no. If you're busy, you can set your age parameters. So we did 0 to 17 boy and 0 to 10 girl. And we did up to 2 at a time. So you can say, I'll only take one, like the baby we had last week. Poor little guy, we could only take one at the time because we had stuff going on. And he had 2 older siblings, and they all had to go to 3 different houses for 4 days, which is not fun either. So the more you can take, the better. But sometimes it's just, I already have 4 kids, so it's not always possible. So basically for the last 3 months, we've been getting calls and we've been taking in most of the children we had one girl who was 11, and we took her, even though we said no girls over 10, because we had her little sister also that was 3. We had one little boy who was 15 months, and we had him for 6 days. We had one foster mom, God bless her soul. I don't know how she does it, but she had a 6-month and 9-month-old placement for babies. A 2-year-old adopted, and she just found out that she was pregnant a while ago. So they needed a break. So we had the 6 and 9-month-old babies for, I think it was only 2 days for that one. And then we recently just had an 11-month-old little guy for 4 days while his family went on vacation to Vegas. So that's basically what respite foster care is. It's where you take in kids for very short term, either for the parents to have a break or to go on vacation. And like I said, a lot of people take their fosters on vacation, but there's also a lot of reasons why they can't. We are getting ready to go off the respite list and back in on the regular foster placement list. I'm so excited. So like in a week and a half, we have an all-day conference to catch up on our training hours for our relicensing. And so since we had that class all day, we decided we better not take a placement, because I would hate to get a placement and then a week later have to leave them with a babysitter for an all-day conference. So we told our licensing worker that as soon as we finish that class, which is on a Friday, that we'll go on the list on Monday. So that's why we've been getting our room ready. I did a room tour. If you look back through my videos, you'll see, I'll try and link it down below, but you'll see our little girl room tour, because we were doing a little girl from 0 to 4 is our age range. So we've done the room, and I did the room tour, and actually this weekend we're going to put together the bed and get some more set up, and then it'll be about, let's see, today's Wednesday, so yeah, in about a week and a half we're going to go on the list. I'm so excited. Once I do a video explaining our foster care journey, I'll be able to explain kind of this. We've been licensed for 1.5 years, so that's why we have to get this class done, because we're going up on our 2-year renewal. But the only placement we had was our son that we adopted. So this will be our first official placement. We've had several respite babies in over the last couple months, and that was so much fun. But like my husband said, I think sometimes respite can even be a little harder, because when you have well, that's not true. Having a placement can be hard too. But the one thing with the respite is they come to you, they're left at your home, they don't know you at all. They're already with a family that isn't their family, and now they're being dropped off at your house to stay with you for 1 night or 6 nights. So I mean, it's just very intimidating and traumatizing. So we just really try to love on them and make them feel comfortable and try and keep them as close to whatever routine they had at home. I have my 4 older kids, and 3 of them love babies, so they play with them and help hold them. And especially when we had the 2 babies, it was like having twins, which I have 2 14-year-olds, but I didn't have 2 14-year-olds when they were young, so young twins is new to me. Yeah, so that's basically what respite foster care is. Nowadays, it used to be that you could only leave a foster child with a licensed respite provider. But now that they changed the law, you can leave them with a family member or a trusted friend. It just has to be someone that you would leave your own biological children with for up to 72 hours without permission, and permission after 72. But respite is still needed, because there's times that people don't have family, or maybe the child has some high needs or behaviors, and it's hard to find a safe place to take them or someone that will take them. And that's where a licensed respite parent can come in. I've had a lot of people ask me if they can get licensed and just do respite because they're not ready to take a placement all the time or commit to that. And the question is yes or no. Yes and no. You can get licensed. No, I take that back. That's not true. Okay, so a licensed respite provider has to do the exact same things that a regular foster parent does. So you have to go through all the classes and the home certifications, and you have to do everything. You're basically, once you're licensed for respite, and you're licensed for foster care. So now, I don't know if this is the same in all states, but so if you want to do respite only, you still have to do the same and all the work, and then you're licensed, and then you just tell your licensing worker, I want to take respite only, and you can tell them the age. So it still is a lot of work. I was kind of thinking that there wouldn't be that many calls. We wouldn't get that many calls because now you can leave them with trusted friends and family if you needed to, but we didn't. We got so many calls that we were having to turn them away because we already had a placement. So it was definitely a high need, but it's also so much work for the family because there isn't a special license to get respite where you don't have to do quite so much. You still have to be fully licensed. It's also sometimes hard to find a licensing agency that will accept you if you tell them you only want to do respite. They don't like to do that all the time. I've actually been told that they were people that were surprised that our agency even let us do just respite. They were also helping us because of the trauma of our last year. So basically that's what licensed respite is. You become licensed to foster and then you take respite only. It's short term. Some people, there's what they call agency pay, which is the $1 an hour. And they get up to 144 hours a year, which is about 6 days. And then some people will say they need respite private pay, and that's where they would pay you. A lot of times they just match whatever the agency would pay. Let's say they need to be gone for 7 days or even 2 weeks. The agency would pay you for the 6 days, and then they would pay you the $1 an hour for the rest of the days. And sometimes sometimes let's say it's a very high needs behavior kid and they just need more than 100 or 6 days in a year of a break. Or there's like a death in the family and they have to go somewhere for a little over a week, things like that. So there could be reasons that it would be over 144 hours. But like I said, also, people don't do it for the money, obviously, because it's $1 an hour. I'm trying to think if there's any other respite questions I've had. So yeah, I just want people to be able to know the difference between respite foster care and regular, because since we started respiting the last 3 months, it's a question I've gotten a million times with people like, wait, how is respite different than regular? So when we go on the regular list, we'll have a long-term placement. That doesn't mean anything though, because you could have a placement for 3 weeks and a family member could come and say, okay, we'll take them, while they're searching. So, but it just means when we switch to regular placement, that we are going to take a placement that we will commit to for 4 days or 2 years, and that we will support reunification if that is, because we are not doing adopt only. Adopt only would mean that you only take placements that are severed because you want to adopt. So we are going to be open for anything girls 0 to 4, and we will support reunification, and if adoption comes up, we would adopt also, but we aren't limiting it to adopt only. So that will be another video that I'll talk about, because yes, it's going to be hard. We had trouble just saying goodbye to these little respite babies that we've had for the last 3 months, and so did my kids. So it's definitely be an adjustment, but we do want to support reunification, because we do believe that if the parents are trying and getting their stuff together and they're not a safety issue for their children, that children are best with their biological parents. Now, that is not always the case. It's not always best for them to go back, but in most cases, if they can try, and we don't always have to agree with every single part of their parenting, but if they can get in a safe spot, children are better off with their biological parents. So we will support reunification, and I'm sure it won't be easy, and I'm sure there'll be several videos to come with that. But for now, I will keep you updated, and I'll hopefully do a video after we receive a placement, just talking about the first time you get a replacement and how it went for us. We won't be able to show her on any video, because until they're adopted, you can't put them out on the internet like that. We can blur their face, but let's be honest, my editing skills are not quite there yet. But I will do a video about how it went getting our placement, and just the adjustments and all that as soon as that happens. So wish us luck. So please comment down below if you have any other foster related questions, or I also homeschool. I have 4 boys that are 14, 12, and 7. So yay, finally a teen girl for us. So if you have any homeschool questions, mom questions, or more foster parents, or any video ideas of other questions you might have for a foster parent, comment those down below, like this video, and subscribe, and thanks.